Let's go. Let's go, baby. What's up, guys? My name is Mountaineer Paul. I'd like to welcome you guys all into a new live edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. It's good news, right? I mean, thank God we got some good news for once. Right on the heels of this Ren Baker stuff, which, by the way, I released a video on that earlier. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. A lot of weird stuff going on today. Ren Baker posting, then deleting stuff about West Virginia. Found that really odd if you didn't see that. But this is about good news. And I'm not saying that Ren's leaving at all. I truly still feel like he's going to stay. But it is scary and if you're a Ren Baker fan. So, how much better did the West Virginia secondary get over the last couple of days? Because let me tell you, I knew pretty much all along that these two were coming together. If you paid attention, they made it pretty clear. Stuff like this was all over X, my brother for life. And so I didn't have to do a lot of digging. This news to me, once the one committed yesterday, was pretty much Dundee Bundy on a kitchen Sunday for today. So who are these players? Are they any good? How much do they play at Northwestern? Let's answer some of those questions. And I'll try not to get them confused with Rondé Hollis Jefferson, the basketball player, because that name keeps popping up in my head. So, first to commit was just yesterday, which was great. Was Garnett Hollis Jr. And to be honest, I was looking for tape on the kid. It's tougher to find Northwestern tape than you would think. And he's played a lot for them guys. And one of their rotational corners, Northwestern had a top flight defense last year. They had no offense. And they basically played defense to 8-5. They beat Utah in the bowl game where the other signee, Jaheem Joeseph, really stood out in that game, guys. I'm more impressed with the upside of Joeseph, but Hollis is certainly going to listen. He's going to come in and compete for a starting job right away. Absolutely. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. He's a physical corner. He's been productive at the Power 5 level in the Big Ten. Guess what? These guys are probably pretty aware, innately aware of Penn State. And so a little strategic on the part of West Virginia to bring in a couple Big Ten players that can really ramp up possibly in the secondary some knowledge about Big Ten, about Penn State and what they bring to the table. I think that's just a little underrated piece of this. So on the production side, Hollis Jr., 48 tackles, 1 interception. Over his career, though, it was a lot more than that. Let me get back to my graphics and see if I have it. I thought I brought it with me. Let's see. Yeah, 78 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 fumbles, 6 passes defended, and an interception, which is great. That's over a career. You'd like to see that over two couple seasons if you could. But both these players really just came on in their last season with Northwestern. And Northwestern is a developmental program where usually guys that have been there are the guys that play. And both these guys were slotted to be starters for a Big Ten school that won 8 games last year in the upcoming season. So take that for what you will. Pat Fitzgerald and those guys were known for being legendary at developing talent. And they did that here with these guys. These guys are kind of been ready to play right away. Body types are going to be already well adjusted. They've been in the weight room for years. They've been taught the right way. They do things the right way at Northwestern. And Northwestern is very similar to what West Virginia is as far as needing to be a developmental program. Joeseph, if you go back and watch the Utah bowl game when they played Utah, displayed excellent skills at reading quarterback's eyes. That's, in my opinion, the thing that Joeseph does best as a safety is he reads the quarterback's eyes. Now, he can get caught looking, and that's something I saw him do on tape a little bit, was he likes to read in there a little bit too much. But in the game versus Utah, it really served him well. He had not one, but two interceptions on what I would consider those Garrett Green type throws way down the field. He was able to basically they were in a two deep coverage, which we would call Tampa two, and he dropped in he did his drop and was able to. He basically would slide. He was hanging on the outside hash with his player, and then moved off of that, looking at the quarterback's eyes, and went deep and was able to grab not one but two picks in that game versus Utah, which shows maturity and growth out of the player. So was really impressed with that, and then just his athletic ability. Once he got the ball in his hands, I was like, oh, okay, this guy's an athlete. He's not just a what you would consider a smart player that gets himself in the right places. He's actually an athlete too. So I think there's a lot of upside for him as well this year, guys. Look for Joeseph to make an impact. I'm impressed with that kid. So let's get to some comments. What is up, Curtis D316? WVU should have a loaded secondary. Well, you know, they're bringing in a lot of pieces that have upside, and I think there should be enough mix of young and old talent to really have a well-rounded secondary this year. Um, I don't know how well they're going to play yet. I mean, you've got everything from obviously T.J. Crandall, Garnes from Duquesne, who's played a lot of ball, to these two guys, to even players that were here last year. You can't forget the kid out of Kent State, who on tape to me is the most impressive of all these players. So um, there's going to be a ton of activity in that room, and that's not even counting the players that didn't play a bunch last year that are kind of still around. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think they're going to be able to field a much better secondary than they did last year. Unfortunately, just going to have a lot of new players learning the plays, and that's really what I worry about most. You're moving to a new 3-4 type defense, and what's that going to look like? Is this going to be hard to pick up? What's the verbiage going to be? We've seen them go from complex to simple with that. As far as, and by verbiage, I mean the play calls. You guys have probably seen the Peyton Manning videos where he calls out. They'll call out 7, 8 second plays. It's not really like that on defense, but they do have some what I would consider complex stuff. So hopefully they're not doing that. Timothy Green said possibly another Beanie Bishop. If he's near that good, he'll be fine and be in fine shape. Let's go Mountaineers. Yeah, I think that's the common comparison, or Charles Woods. Now, this is a Power 5 transfer, right? So certainly I think this team knows what they're looking for, the type of player they're looking for. We're not always going to get the top of the top, but they know what players look like that will fit. It's like what Belichick and those guys did here. It's just a great comparison, or even the Spurs. Once you get your system down, what your system is and what it looks like, then the prototype player for that spot, right? And all it is just filling that spot with the same similar type player every year. And yes, they're going to have strengths towards one thing or another thing each year, and you adjust accordingly. But as long as you feel like, okay, wait, you mean to say Beanie Bishop did this, and this, and he played 50-50 balls extremely well. And so we kind of look for a player like that or whatever, you should just adjust it. Yeah, that's I put that on the thumbnail, I thought, John. But yes, it's Garnett, Hollis Jr., and Jaheem Joeseph are the two players. Thanks, Timothy. Yeah, my allergies are doing better, man. It's been rough on me. I'm not gonna lie. It's if you guys ever see me not posting, it's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't feel good, And I've told you guys, I've got 7 or 8 referrals put in. I've got a couple for this week that I have to go to, 3, I think. So, I'm trying to get my health in check. I'm overweight, and there's a lot going. And you put it off, and out of fear, you put this stuff off. and I put it off for too long, and so I haven't had any major health scares, but I've had some really good big reality checks. So I appreciate you, Timothy. You always comment on my health, and it's nice to know you're such a good dude, man. Mad Dog Sports, what's up, brother? I know it's not about this topic, but with the EA Sports College Football coming out with real players, what overall will they put Garrett Green? That's a good question. I think it depends on where they get their info. You know, you could see him being anywhere from like an 80 up to like in. I don't think he'll get out of the 80s, but maybe like an 87, 86, maybe 88, which is a really good score, obviously. You look for guys like Caleb Wilson or anybody like that would have probably been, 93, 94. I don't, maybe a guy like Quinn Ewers would be a 95 and in this game, 96. And then every now and again, you have like CJ Stroud that'll be like a 97, from the past, or Patrick Mahomes maybe. So, but I think Garrett will probably be in that personally mid to late 80s range, and with a chance to move up into the low 90s maybe. So we all know he's not the very best quarterback in the country as far as throwing the football goes, and he's not the very best at running it either. But he has the chance to be the best at both combined, and I think he's got a shot, guys. We'll see. I'm excited about Garrett's upcoming season. Got a lot of faith in him. As long as he can stay injury free, he's going to be in the conference for Offensive Player of the Year. He's going to be in the conversation, possibly go to New York for the Heisman, as long as we win some games. So we'll see what happens. Last time a Big 12 defensive back transfer WVU turned out to be against All American. Now we got two more. Absolutely, Tyler. That's a good way to look at it. I like that look. Garrett Green will be a top 10 pick in the game. Yeah, maybe so, Timothy. It might not be a bad topic to do on the show if you guys are interested in it. I'm just happy we are getting some guys from Power 5 with experience and not just FCS and Group 5, even though these guys will contribute too. Yeah, Tyler, like I said earlier, I'm 100% with you on the Power 5 part. No complaints. But a real true blue scout can identify the player type, like I said earlier, for the position. Like Tony Gibson, the 3Z5 he runs, or Jeff Castile. Chris Neal was about as good as it got at playing the nose in that defense, which is why that 2010 defense was one of the best defenses we've ever had at West Virginia. Chris Neal was an unsung hero in that defense and really controlled the line of scrimmage, allowing all those DBs and linebackers to run around and make plays, along with Scooter Berry, guys like that, Johnny Dingle. But you got to have players like that really fit the mold of their position in key spots. You got to be able to control the nose of any football team, and that's why I keep bringing up the nose this year. I just wonder if Patoma Malba is really that guy as far as what we've seen other guys do for us in the past at the nose. We'll see. I know we've got guys coming up behind him, Hammond Russell, guys like that. But I just, I want to see. I know, and I go off on these tangents. You didn't even mention all this, but basically, it's about fitting, player types. Sorry. Ty French, the pass rusher with his secondary. I'm excited. Yeah, and one thing Fabian mentioned about Ty was he's so athletically gifted that he's actually running with the secondary players in practice, which means that's the kind of speed he has and explosion. He's like almost like a spear, running around out there, which maybe they end up playing him at spear someday. You never know. Things I worry about with Ty French, as you know, is which I mean that's why they have more than one guy rushing. If we get caught in that third down package with Ty on the field, hopefully we don't get a lot of runs to his side because he struggled in the run, and I've said that a few times. I know I've harped on it, but like I mean really struggled, and it was against FCS. It was against Sam Houston or Elon. I think it was against Elon. They absolutely bulldozed him for 3.5 quarters, which all they do is run the ball. But um, I think I think he's got a chance to have a Bruce Irvin type effect on this team. You bring him in on pass rushing downs and on third downs, and you got a guy that's got a shot to get between 8 and 10 sacks, 10.5 sacks for us this year, which would be incredible. We haven't had that in so long. What is up, Silas? I love playing college football games as well. Something else that happened today. I don't know if you guys are video game nuts like I am. Shadow of the Erdtree expansion was announced today. It's coming out. If you guys played Elden Ring, which is an RPG it's a fantasy type game, what they call a sandbox game where you have freedom to roam around anywhere. They announced the trailer for that game, the expansion to that, which is one of the greatest games of all time at this point. Curtis D316 said T.J. Jackson was one of the highest rated transfer defensive tackles by Pro Football Focus. This defense could be really good this year. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Curtis, but I had T.J. on the show, and I had some of those because he gave them to me. He knew them way before we did. And I don't know if you saw my T.J. Jackson video, but I did do one a couple months back when he signed with Xavier Bosley. But yeah, I need to get a hold of TJ, man. I haven't spoken to him since he signed really any of these players. I'm never sure on how to monitor. Even though these guys have been cool and spoken to me, it's not like that. It's not like I'm their friend. So I try to I try to leave them alone until I need them. So, but I would like to catch up with some of these guys and see how they're doing. So. TJ is another great addition, and you're right. He is a pass rusher from the defensive end spot. Um, I'm excited about him, man. I think he's probably outside of Bosley. He's right there as one of my favorite signings this year. I just think Bosley, when you look at it, Fabian says he's got some developing to do, but he was a Pro Football Focus, or I'm sorry, a freshman All American. And at the end of the day, they don't just hand those things out. We've seen guys like Zach Frazier, Wyatt Milam, Tomas Remack get those things in the past, and those guys are all starters in the Power Five. So while it happened at the G5 level, Jacksonville State went no-ho last year, and I really do think that he led them on the ground. On tape, he absolutely dominated teams, and on the Power Five side too. So I'm excited about Mr. Bosley, and I think he's probably going to slot in. Nick Malone's going to give him a fight at right tackle, as well he should. But I think Bosley gets it in the end. We'll see. What's up, John Waters, channel member? He said, I really want Ren to stay bad. Me too. Uh, at the end of the day, he's lived in Missouri twice. He's worked in Missouri twice as an athletic director. That's close to home for them. Um, I do worry about it. I do worry about it a lot, but it's out of my control. It's kind of one of that. It's kind of how I look at stuff like this. Is I want him to stay a lot, but it's also out of my control. So I try not to harp on it too much because otherwise I'll get in a funk over it. Because I really like Ren. He's been accessible. He came on the show. He's been really easy to talk to. He usually responds. He didn't respond to my messages today. I tried to get any kind of comment from him. I knew he wouldn't tell me, but I told him I was doing a show about him today, which I did do. What's up, Tar Heels for life? Yeah, we did kick your ass, man. But you guys didn't have your best players, and we get that. Had you had your best players, it would have been a great game. I think you guys would have scored more for sure. Um, I still think we had the better overall team, which I didn't know going in. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but obviously Drake May you can't just take that player out of the game and say, yeah, he would have had he would have had a freaking impact on the game. We're talking about the possible number one overall pick, franchise quarterback somewhere. So he did everything the other guy could do with his legs and could throw the ball. And then you talked about taking Tez out too. Those two players really would have made a huge difference on the offensive side of things. I'm curious to know how things would have played out, but we did kick your ass. So I'm glad we did. Trust me, we needed it worse than you guys did as far as our program as in general. Like we needed it, man. We did. West Virginia's up 37-32 at half. I know I was trying to get this over with before too much of the game's gone, so I'll probably be hopping off here shortly. But I did want to talk about these couple players first. Timothy Tyler Cobb said hopefully he will be able to improve his rushing defense while playing against WVU offense in practice that is run heavy. Yeah, he's gonna have a heavy dose of it, man. Oh yeah, that's asking a lot, Timothy Green. Winning the Big 12 would mean we in the playoff, which means I can go to heaven. you know, seeing us in a playoff would be like, man, it would be great. It used to be 10 years ago, 12 years ago, this would have been almost a formality. Um, Based on how we were doing, we would have been a favorite for the playoffs. So it's wild, isn't it? Appreciate you guys for coming in this evening. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to drop a comment below, as always. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Last but not least, guys, let me thank the sponsor for this channel, Dutch Miller. Um, this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing. Yeah, how in the world can they have WVU finish 11th in the Big 12? I don't know. Ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for? Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. Yeah, I don't know, Curtis. It makes no sense, man. And then you look at the Josh Payton stuff, uh, program rankings. These were program rankings, though. A lot of people misinterpreted them as like where he felt like West Virginia football was going to finish, but he was taking like a 5-year run, basically, which is like the entire Neil Brown era. Yeah, I would love to have. Listen, I'd love to have 14 again. Give it to us again. We'll take it. Nobody cares about the preseason rankings. We know what kind of squad we got this year. So I'll take that. I think these boys are going to be motivated in a different way this year. Um, you know, when you know you're on the cusp of being that great, sometimes that's more motivating than being looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? So, well, Curtis, I respectfully disagree with you on Arizona, but as far as Colorado goes, I think they're a scary team coming in this year. I think Shadur Sanders is a very underrated player. A lot of people think he sucks. He does not suck. I'll go to my grave saying he doesn't suck until he proves me otherwise. But their offensive line has to get better. If it doesn't get better, they won't win any games again. If the offensive line is improved, they're going to be extremely scary on offense. It's just all there is to it. Um, on the Arizona side of things, sure, they had, yeah, you say they had one good year and lost their coach, but at the end of the day, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's. And that's just the way it is to me, bro. Uh, Not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is my opinion. Um, I think they've got the horses to be really good. Again, they signed two of the top 20 players in America in Fafita and in the wide receiver. So, I mean, they got to keep those guys. They lost some. They're going to be different, but I definitely think they have enough to be good again. So we'll see what happens. Well, they've got the number one wide receiver in the country as well coming back. Don't forget about that by most people's account. So, is it Coleman? I think, or I have to look at his name again. But yeah, so he's an excellent player, and they were able to get both of those guys to come back. And the running back, yeah, they've got a really good running back too. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, guys. But if nobody's got any super chats or anything like that, I'm going to get to the basketball game, start watching it. Just wanted to talk about these players and let everybody know about that. Guys, if you don't care, share the video. Just share it out. Copy and paste the link and share it for me. A couple of you guys, maybe Timothy, Tyler, a couple of you guys can do that for me. Trying to get it's this off season put a hurting on me, guys, for real. It's not anything bad, but views are down right now, so it sucks. I'm used to getting a lot more views than I'm getting, so something's got to change. So I'm going to start asking you guys that are watch a lot to try to help me some if you can. I hate to even do that, but if you can, I'd appreciate it by you all that watch a lot. Yeah, I agree, John. I agree. He said I want them to pick us to finish near the bottom, but I don't think it matters. We don't have to worry about them putting us too high because they don't respect us anyway. That's basically it. That's pretty much what it is. Hopefully the basketball team can pull off a miracle in the Big 12 tournament. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And thank you, Timothy. Appreciate that. Um, it would be great to see that happen. No doubt about it. It'd be one of the most exciting things that could happen. Uh, Hopefully, it would be like Pitt or somebody that we took the spot from. That'd be even more funny. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna go get off here and watch them play right now, guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Let's root on our Mountaineers to come keep this second half win and get them boys some wins in their life, man. They need it badly. So thank you guys for watching in and stopping in. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, and this live edition is over. Good night, guys.